Howdy everyone, the time is 11:26 a.m. and it is, what day is it? It's December 22nd. I can't believe I forgot that. December 22nd. Welcome to another update from Great Lakes Weather. We are merely hours away, in fact, maybe less than a few hours away from this winter storm making landfall here in the Great Lakes region, and it is going to bring less snow than was originally anticipated, but again, I think some of the models are really having some disagreements with regards to the lake effect snow potential with this and the movement of the low pressure system. It looks like that the low pressure system, though, is going to move in and out much faster than was originally anticipated, which will bring us less snowfall totals, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like on the model in just a minute. Make sure you subscribe, stay updated. I will be live streaming tonight when the blizzard first begins to hit, and then I also will be live streaming tomorrow when the blizzard's in full swing with that lake effect snow that will be occurring on the back side of this low pressure system. So let's get right to it with what is going on out there. So here we have the GFS model at the current moment. All right, so this is actually farther ahead than what it's supposed to be, but let's zoom immediately into our area in the Midwestern United States to get a look at how things are going to unfold. This is at 1 p.m., so this is about an hour and a half from right now, but there is going to be some snow and rain filtering into northwestern Indiana. I'll be down in Shipshewana when that snow first begins to hit, and then we progress it a little bit forward. The snow will increase in intensity as you move a little bit eastward. At this point, the low pressure system is now starting to deepen and start to get lower in pressure, which will allow for heavier snow to occur on the back side of it. That heavy snow will begin to also move into parts of Michigan at the current time as well. You'll see that quickly lift northeastward, and the snow will increase in heaviness as that band does end up moving through. And the low is still deepening quite quickly, as you can see right here, this low at 997 millibars at the current moment. Heavy snow on the backside, likely some snow squalls associated with this particular system moving through Indiana, Ohio. It looks like in Indiana, Ohio, looking around 3 to 5 inches for most of you in that general area. Maybe a bit more if you're on the western side of Indiana. It appears you might get a little bit more. But as it moves off to the east, what you'll end up seeing is that this low begins to kind of stagnate in this general vicinity. You can kind of see the lowest isobar is kind of in this general area, but it is going to move much farther east than anticipated. Originally, we thought that the low would settle over Lake Huron, but all the models have really come to an agreement that it's actually going to surge farther to the east, bringing heavier snow totals towards Ontario. While we do get lower snow totals, we're still going to have some decent snow totals, mainly because of the lake effect. Blizzard conditions are still expected. That's pretty much a given at this point for those areas that are in the blizzard warning. Pretty much anywhere east-west of I-69 and places closer to US 131 are going to experience blizzard conditions during this time period. So that's going to continue connected with that lake effect snow. Buffalo, in fact, Buffalo, New York is expected to get another 4 to 6 feet of snow with this particular winter storm event because of their lake effect is going to be relatively strong as well. So they're going to be in the brunt of it. But you can see lake effect snow does continue into Friday and into Christmas Eve as well. Just as originally forecasted, we did expect that lake effect snow to continue during that time. Oop, went a little bit too far ahead. During that time, and the lake effect snow is going to continue all the way through Christmas now, is even the projection. It will likely continue through Christmas Day, and we'll finally get a break in this weather on December 26th. December 26th is going to look amazing on the lake. I'm anticipating a lot of freezing spray on the piers, so there's going to be a lot of ice spikes forming along those lighthouses, and then those shorelines are really going to face an impact with waves of up to 20 feet in some spots along western Michigan. So definitely a memorable blizzard, something for the history books, not going to be as intense as the blizzards of 78, but still a very memorable blizzard will be occurring. This is the first time we've had a blizzard warning in western Michigan since 2012, so it's definitely something that will be noted for quite a little while. But that's really what the GFS is showing for this storm. I'm going to put a freeze frame on what it's showing, so we're going to pause it at the current time that we are at. This is Sunday at about 10 a.m. So looking at the winter weather graphics here, total snowfall and 10-to-1 ratio does show snow potential of up to 10 inches across parts of western Michigan. It is likely going to be a little bit higher than this in quite a few spots, given the Kuchera ratio. If we look at that, it looks like there could be a bit more snow than what is forecasted here. The Kuchera ratio, so what the Kuchera ratio does is it actually measures the ratio based on the moisture that's in the atmosphere of inches of rain to the amount of snow, and actually the Kuchera ratio is going to be higher for this event than the 10-to-1 ratio, and it looks like it's about 20-to-1. So that's why when you look at the 10-to-1 snowfall totals across the Great Lakes region, they're a little bit less, and we're actually forecasting a bit more, mainly because that Kuchera ratio is showing, hey, we're going to get a bit more snow than what is forecasted by the normal 10-to-1 ratio. So it does look like what the National Weather Service has projected for this event to be accurate. It looks like it's going to be in excess of a foot for snowfall totals with this particular event. So, and then even upwards of well over 2 feet across parts of northern Michigan and the Upper Peninsula. That is what the GFS model is showing. Most areas along and west of I-69 could see excess of a foot. Areas east of that will likely see maybe 5 to 8 inches of snow. And that is what is currently projected by the National Weather Service and by the models as well. So there's a lot of consistency with this particular setup going through at the current moment. Let's look at the Euro model real quick. Let's zoom in on our general area. Again, very similar setup. You've got that low that's deepening over Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. You see some rain on the front side. Rain's not likely going to impact western Michigan, but it will impact Indiana and Ohio. And then that flash freeze will occur, and things will really start to freeze over the roadways. Low pressure value of about 999 millibars once it reaches northern Ohio, near Cleveland, Toledo, those areas. Cedarville is going to be seeing that change at about 10 p.m. tonight. That change from rain to snow, and then that snow is just going to dump for a couple hours over parts of the Ohio region. That squall will move out of the way. Lake effect snow then becomes the next story, once again, as the Euro projects, with lots of lake effect snow moving through all the way through about Christmas Eve and even into Christmas. It actually projects more lake effect snow than the Euro, or than the GFS model does itself. So we'll pause it here where the lake effect snow begins to end, and look at the snow totals for this particular model here. And very much the same. You've got snow totals of up to 20 inches across parts of western Michigan associated with that lake effect snow event, and then 5 to 8 inches looking likely farther eastward. So very similar models, and in fact, now Ohio is even showing a bit more snow. As that low deepens, there's going to be much more snow focused in that low pressure area, which is likely going to bring snow totals of a little bit higher across parts of this area. I think you guys could see about 3 to 6 inches of snow by the time this event is over. Again, much less than what was anticipated before. Earlier, this low is being projected to be farther west, so parts of Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois. Now it's shifted farther to the east, and though it's moving rather quickly, the lake effect is going to be the big story, and the blizzard-like conditions associated with that lake effect as wind gusts accelerate up to 60 miles an hour. Likely going to be some power outages with this, so you're definitely going to want to find ways to stay warm, and you definitely don't want to be on the roads. If any day, do not be on the roads on Friday across Michigan or anywhere near to the lakes, because that is going to be a very dangerous place to be traveling when this moves through. So very similar snowfall total graphics between the GFS and the Euro model, so it wouldn't be no surprise to see snow totals in excess of a foot for this particular event. And then once again, you do have the HRRR that's showing a very similar scenario: heavy snow across western Michigan, northwestern Indiana by the time we get to 6 p.m. on Thursday, and it will kind of settle over the area over several hours. An interesting thing about the HRRR is that it is showing that there's going to be a break in the snow on the back side of this as we get out away from the lake, which I'm interested to see if that actually amounts to anything. I do think that it will likely still stay over this area, the snow coverage. So it's very interesting that the HRRR is pointing that out there. But again, the low is projected to deepen according to the HRRR and kind of settle over Ontario as projected before. Those strong winds really start to take shape. Northern Ohio is going to be facing lake effect as well. And you also have the lake effect forming across Michigan. The HRRR does not do a very good job of forecasting the lake effect at this point. So it's not really going to show as much snow totals as before. The lake effect is likely going to be the big story with this particular event. So we're going to go to the Kuchera ratio once again. It does still show higher snow totals, but it shows them a bit more focused farther to the west. So I do think that the HRRR does still show some similarities, except the lake effect is not as widespread with the HRRR as it is with the GFS and the Euro. So the difference here could be, this is kind of the better case scenario. as shown by the HRRR, 5 to 8 inches across eastern Michigan, and then also areas in excess of a foot as you get closer to US 131 west of I-69. And then HRRR is actually showing a bit more snowfall for Indiana and Ohio than I would have expected. You've got 6 to 8 inches of snow across northwestern Ohio, parts of Indiana, and places like that. So interesting how those models have kind of increased the snow totals, and I do think that may be coming in a later update of snowfall total forecast for the HRRR. But that's what's currently shown. I'll show you the current warnings on weather.gov real quick. We'll check that out. Currently, if you live in anywhere in the Great Lakes region other than southeastern Ohio, and everywhere in the Great Lakes region is under some type of winter weather alert. There's really no place there that doesn't have a winter weather alert at the current moment. Look at the scope of this storm. You can see the warnings kind of extend as far west as towards the Rocky Mountains, wrap all the way around the eastern continental United States. Pretty much the entire eastern continental United States has some type of winter weather alert or wind alert going through at this current moment. This is a huge storm, and it's all associated with that strong Arctic air mass that's coming in from Siberia and filtering into the Great Lakes region at the current moment. A place in Montana, if I get this right, we recorded a 26-degree temperature drop in as little as 3 minutes. That's a pretty significant drop in temperatures. We won't see one that rapid, but we will see temperature drops of that magnitude over a longer span of time. Temperature today is going to be up to 35 degrees, and then it's going to drop all the way down to 9 degrees tonight, and that will be our high temperature for tomorrow. So that's going to be a significant change with this event. Let's zoom in on some of the specific winter weather alerts. We'll start with central Indiana, southern Indiana. You have that winter storm warning in effect. Let's have a look at that. Total snow accumulations are only going to be 2 to 4 inches, which is not much snow. Dangerous cold is one of the bigger concerns, and the winds. The winds are going to be gusting as high as 50 miles per hour, and even as little as 2 inches can cause a lot of visibility issues. So you still don't want to be on the roads on Friday. Okay, it's not as significant of an event as you get where the blizzard warnings are currently at, but it still is decent enough of an event to cause hazardous travel. Your wind chill warnings are in effect, and those wind chill warnings are for specifically wind chills as low as 30 below zero, extremely cold. You don't want to be outside at night when these wind chills begin to filter in, and those wind chills may even occur during the day at times too. Let's focus on lower Michigan now. You do have those blizzard warnings in effect, and what is currently being forecasted by the National Weather Service is total snow accumulations in excess of a foot in many areas, wind gusting as high as 50 miles per hour, and they are using some pretty strong language when they say travel should be restricted to emergencies only. Okay, so on Friday in particular, do not travel unless absolutely necessary. Very dangerous weather that's going to be occurring across western Michigan and northern Michigan too. Let's go up to northern Michigan real quick. You have NWS Gaylord issuing another blizzard warning up there. Snow accumulations of 12 to 26 inches across much of that area, and that's going to be associated again with that lake effect snow that's going to be occurring up in that general area. And in fact, they will still have a longer span of system snow up in that area as well. So that heavy snow is going to be occurring. You also have all these events such as low water advisory, heavy freezing spray warning. It is just going to be a mess up in parts of northern Michigan as this event goes through. Let's take a look at Ohio now, if I can get there. All right, let's look at Dayton specifically. Winter storm warning in effect, and it looks like snow accumulations once again of 2 to 4 inches. Models are showing a little bit higher than that. We'll see if the National Weather Service follows suit with that particular setup. Wind chill warning, low as 35 below zero. This is like what it was like at Cedarville when we had that big old Arctic blast in January. We had those wind chills that just completely shut everything down at the college because the wind chills were as low as 30 below zero. These wind chills are going to be even colder than that. 35 below zero. You don't want to be outside. You can get frostbite very quickly as a result of this particular setup. 10 minutes. Cause frostbite in as little as 10 minutes, okay? So you're not going to want to be outside during this. Definitely bundle up if you do have to go outside, which hopefully you do not. And don't forget about your pets as well, all right? And I've also given you guys the safety reminders that if you get stuck in a car, don't leave your car. That's the number one thing. And don't leave your car on as well, because that will lead to carbon monoxide poisoning. Only turn it on for reasons for heat. Make sure you have food and some other way to sustain yourself while you're in that car waiting for help, okay? Because Friday is going to be a very difficult day for even plows to keep up with. You're going to want to be well prepared for this event. All right, so I will be live streaming tonight, likely, on the way back during the snowstorm. When the snowstorm really starts to take hold, I'm going to be on the road, and I'm going to be trying to get back to where I live so that I can stay out of the dangerous part of the storm. And then, so that's tonight. And then tomorrow I will be out exploring the snow that does occur and how much snow we will get. And then on the 26th, after Christmas Day, I will be out on the lakeshore having a check at what the freezing spray did to all the piers and shorelines. So stay tuned for that. Make sure that you subscribe and you stay updated. And I will have that content out once we get started with this thing in as little as maybe an hour and 15 minutes. So stay safe out there, and I will see you all later.